Up to this point, we've gone into ideograms, which are kinesthetic responses, the sensory and dimensionals, which are various aspects of clairvoyance, and emotional responses, known as clairsentience. We then probe the mind for neuronal information. Almost all of the sources for data have been tapped. Hopefully, we've created a word picture and a few diagrams to define the object to as clear an item as possible. Stage 6 brings us tactile sensing, or the sense of touch. Now we'll go into expressing that physicality in a mechanical 3D form. When we're done, all of the psychic centers of the mind and brain will have been exercised. Kinesthetic action triggers information at the subliminal level. Stage 6 might be a big surprise to some people with exceptional ability in this area of expression. It's the stage where we do target modeling. There are two modalities in Stage 6, detect and decode. Detect mode provides additional information, such as gathered in stages 1, 2, and 3. This is generally mechanical in nature. The decode kinesthetics, on the other hand, are objective responses arising out of the modeling process and the data collectively from stages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Stage 5 is not a part of this objective process because it doesn't arise from the signal line itself and is neither detect nor decode. It is not intuitive in nature. While any word encountered so far may be developed this way, it's easiest to take a dimensional term from Stage 2 and translate it into either a drawing or a clay model. If it fits, you can apply several dimensions to the clay, but we usually work with only one aspect in clay at a time. By physically modeling the site, we trigger additional thoughts to enrich the overall picture. We get a handle on concepts in temporal location, that is, placement in time, and spatial references that tell us where the object may be or how each part relates. The nature or quality of your discoveries will not be limited to just the shape of something. You'll find things like how the object acts, such as twisting it apart, breaking it, or kinetic actions like impact or deformation. In one case, I took a diagonal shape and pulled it apart. This triggered the revelation that it came apart. The target was a wooden puzzle. These are tactile impressions that give us objective information. Your subconscious mind will take over, to the extent that you let go of it. I like to call what I do as fidgeting. If you ever watched a cat pondering something of interest, you'll recall a calm disposition, except for that tail. It's as though all of the cat's thoughts are being expressed out on the far end of its tail, independent of the rest of the cat. That's a fair example of what we want to do when we take on this stage. It's a lot of fun, but as in drawing an ideogram, you have to let go. Let your fingers do the talking. Hold the clay in your fingers. Then as you deform or shape the clay, place your deliberate thoughts elsewhere. Once it has taken shape, what we do here is best described as fidgeting, the inner mind influencing the hands to do things we don't intend at our higher level of awareness. Defocus your awareness of what your hands are doing and allow it to develop aspects of the target, because you can't force it into shape. It has to happen. It's almost a nervous action you're doing while you're waiting for something else to happen. You've caught yourself doing things while you're impatient or anxious, like drumming your fingers or rubbing your hands. Now we're simply going to harness that inner instinct to show us additional aspects of the target. Let's start. We begin by intending to explore an aspect from the dimensionals in Stage 2. We enter that aspect, such as rectangular, on our Stage 6 form under dimensionals. Stage 6 form is similar to that of Stage 4. We then take a piece of clay that's been by our side through the entire process of RV. As we manipulate the clay, We allow the signal line and clay manipulation to trigger ideas which get noted on the Stage 6 form. You will shape the clay consciously to the initial shape of that word described, then let go of further development. Give it to your subconscious to finish. Our thoughts are on the signal line, not the clay. It's the thoughts, the objectified information developed, that's most important, not the clay shape. As the clay progresses in shape, the signal line will slow. The form for Stage 6 will be filled out as you get more information objectively. The clay might even be considered a distraction to collect more objective information. This can work both ways. As you're working with the clay, then reading the characteristics of the target from various pages, you'll find the clay taking shape on its own. It will be your subconscious at play, very accurately serving you again. When you're finished shaping the clay, either take a photo or draw the entire object on a separate piece of blank paper and label it 6A. If this elaboration originated as a dimension, then place the 6A in the dimensional column on Stage 6 worksheet and enter a description of it. This organizes all of the impressions you're gathering in this stage and makes evaluation easier. Play-Doh can be purchased in very small containers for use anywhere. The size of the clay shape is not as important, but the smaller it gets, the harder it is to add details and to shape it adequately. If you don't have your clay with you when you're doing a session, you can go to the back of the Stage 6 worksheet and draw as detailed a collection of impressions as you can develop from all the data in the session. Even under this circumstance, you'll find that data will organize itself on the paper to lend additional feelings about its layout. Pay attention to how you feel about all the aspects of the drawing and listen to that information. If you choose to develop additional artistic renderings by means of a drawing, take another separate sheet and label it 6B and draw the elements that come to mind. In many cases, taking multiple elements of the dimensionals can happen here. Enter as many elements as seem proper and place them where you think they should go. You can label each object if desired. When you've completed the subliminal part of the process, whether you get anything that way or not, you can go on to consciously modeling any additional aspects of the data you have collected. Sometimes fleshing it out in 3D is the best way to add details. When you're done, you should take a 20-minute break, grab something to snack or drink before you go on to Stage 7. It's important to give your subconscious some time to sort out all this information. The subconscious is far more reliable than our conscious mind. That's because it's non-judgmental and draws from far more data streams than the conscious mind does. Leave it alone to do its thing, and it will provide you with good information you can trust. Clay modeling has fallen out of use in the last 20 years, probably because of logistics. However, as we revived it in our classes, we discovered it was a very, very valuable tool, especially so for people with artistic abilities, modeling in particular. The sense of touch is another important source of subconscious expression, as you have seen in the accuracy of the ideograms in Stage 1. Here are some examples from actual sessions with the related target photos beside them. A racetrack, Nemo and a Christmas tree, an exact image of a clay pot, a cryptographic machine, McDonald's, hurricane, a swan, and a hubcap.